You get a really well-balanced player, great motor, and a guy who's ecstatic beyond belief to have a Power 4 opportunity from Kansas State. He fits really, really well with what Buddy Wyatt wants at that position.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
Hello, and welcome to the Verbal Commitment Podcast on the Kansas City Sports Network, brought to you by Home Field Apparel. I'm Kevin Flaherty, and I'm here, as always, with my friend Ryan Wallace from GoPowerCat.com and 24/7 Sports to talk about the world of local recruiting, from Kansas and Kansas City prospects to the college classes at Kansas, Kansas State, and Missouri. Later in the show, we'll have interviews with Kansas State commitment R.J. Collins of Staley High School and Utah commitment Drew Clemens of Oak Park, who we talked to after an absolute barn burner of a game, with Oak Park coming back to win 28-21 on a touchdown in the final seconds, but it looked like the game was likely headed for overtime. As always, if you like what you're hearing, subscribe, hit that like button, or leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts like Apple or Spotify. And how would you like to make an extra $500? Go to BlueWirePods.com/survey and complete the Blue Wire audience survey about you and your podcast listening habits for a chance to win a $500 gift card. Not only can you win that money, your answers will help us create a better viewing and listening experience, improving this show in the process. That's BlueWirePods.com/survey, which should be linked below, where all you have to do is answer some simple questions for a chance to win $500. Ryan, Missouri kicked off high school football this past weekend, and man, did we pick a great first game to go to.
Trayvon Pankey into the end zone. Touchdown, Oak Park.
Yeah, Trayvon Pankey there, Kevin Flaherty. In a game that you and I thought for sure was destined for overtime.
Yeah.
And Staley with a costly turnover just outside, the red zone for Oak Park. Oak Park gets the ball back. And the thing that, we know, having been at that game, that doesn't really shine as much in that clip is, you see the steamroller that is Trayvon Pankey, who's committed to South Dakota State to go there and play running back for the defending FCS champs. But that was like, his 40th carry of the night. And I mean, to do what he did on that final play, I think goes to show not only, just the natural motor that he has, right? But I mean, what this kid could do, with a college strength program and conditioning program, if he's able to do that at the tail end of an exhausting week one for him, a heck of a performance from Oak Park, heck of a performance from Pankey.
We'll get to Pankey a little more and other standout players from that game a bit. But first, Kansas State landed its 18th commitment of the 2025 class, with Grapevine, Texas edge Brad Stanyer picking the Wildcats after visiting this weekend. Ryan, you talked with Stanyer after the visit for Go PowerCat. So I'll go ahead and ask you, what are the Wildcats getting here?
He's a really balanced defensive end, and I'll be honest, he's a kid that they feel like is just a real hidden gem hiding in plain sight in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, Kevin. He's a kid that I compare favorably to a guy that's kind of just getting his feet wet at Kansas State. As you watch his highlights here, Ryan Davis. I mean, Ryan Davis is a guy that can play run support well, but he's got good burst. The size is similar at about 6'5", 240. Davis obviously has had a chance to be in the weight room a little bit more than Stanyer has. But I think, here in a year or two, I think Stanyer can go through the redshirt program. There won't be any sort of rush to get him on the field, knowing, just how deep the Kansas State defensive end group is right now. And he can have a chance to, again, kind of bolster himself even more. And Kevin, we were talking about this earlier right after he committed on Labor Day, and he's not a project, but he's also far from a finished product. I mean, his technique and stuff is very strong. I think, again, he's very balanced and he can play the run support very well, just like he shows some get off. I love the bend that he has for a guy that's 6'5", and can really get around the edge. But, this is a guy, again, like I said, that Kansas State coaches are really, really excited about. When they lost out on the Cade Peterjak sweepstakes to Nebraska, Cade was a guy that was 4-star, number 1 player in South Dakota, big-time player, and a really good recruit, having seen him at camp. But they didn't seem at all concerned, having missed out on a couple other D linemen after watching Stanyer go through their elite camp at the end of June. They feel like, again, this is a guy in Grapevine, Texas, that they're going, how on earth did you slip through the cracks and only have Air Force, Army, Texas State as FBS offers? They jumped on this quick. That's why they had the official visit set for week 1, because this was a kind of guy that if he gets 3-4 weeks worth of senior tape, it will not take long at a place like Grapevine for him to get out there. And so, again, they see a guy that is equal in terms of potential, maybe not where they are at this time, but equal in terms of potential between he and Peterjak, and a guy who doesn't have quite the NIL cost that I think a guy like Peterjak's going to come with. And so, again, you get a really well-balanced player, great motor, and a guy who's ecstatic beyond belief to have a Power 4 opportunity from Kansas State. He fits really, really well with what Buddy Wyatt wants at that position, and has experience in an odd man front, which you don't always find at the high school level these days.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up how balanced he is, right? Because I think when you look at the junior tape, that's one of the things you really see as a pass rusher, and that he can rush from around the edge, like you said. He's great at making himself skinny, when he's racking the interior spot. And then you watch his tape from his first game of this season, and you see the run support. You see the ability to lock guys out with the arms. I think where some of the potential comes into play here is the body. When he's going to get into Kansas State's weight room, training table, things like that, does he wind up putting on 20 pounds? Does he wind up putting on something closer to 30 or 40? That's going to be something that's really interesting to watch. But I do think that versatility is there. And I'm glad you brought up the offers, too, because you and I talk about this all the time. Offers are kind of a message board thing in a lot of ways. Guys say, oh, my gosh, we took this guy. Nobody else big had really offered him. Kansas State, and I'll say this all the time, Ryan, and you can attest to this, I do not care. Because they trust in their own evaluations, and they're good at finding guys like this before those offers come in. And I'll tell you, watching Stanyer's tape, I would not be a bit surprised if more offers do come in. So Kansas State kind of getting to the front of the line, securing that commitment was a really good move for them.
Yeah. And shout out to Truman Griffith, who, Kevin, a Mill Valley Zone, was his official host over the weekend. He entertained spent some time with Drake Beckwith, who's also a Grapevine product. So they had a lot of similarities and things that they could connect about. But Truman Griffith from Mill Valley, you can kind of put an ace in his sleeve, if you will, because he was the one that, from a host standpoint, I think Stanyer talked about the ability that he had to really gel easily over the weekend with the players. And again, a lot of credit goes to the host in that case, which is, or in this case, Truman Griffith. So the Mill Valley Jaguar gets it done for K-State.
Turning back to Oak Park at Staley, one guy who's been committed to Kansas State for a little while, Ryan, Staley's R.J. Collins, guy that both of us really like. We had a chance to see him in person. What did you think about the way that he played on Friday?
Well, obviously the speed kills, and, Oak Park did not want to kick to him, so we didn't get to see any of his assets on special teams. And, Kevin, I don't know if we'll see any team want to give him an opportunity on special teams just because he is so lethal. But he was out there on both sides of the ball. You could make an argument that maybe if it wasn't week 1, maybe if, once his conditioning gets up to speed, not that he's not conditioned, but just anybody who's coming out week 1, it does take a couple weeks, I think, for you to get back into the swing of your game conditioning, right? But you could make an argument that maybe they need him a little bit more on offense and make him a bigger priority just because he is such a spark. And if he's not going to get the ball, he's a hell of a decoy. So just having him out there, if he can go, because he goes so hard on defense, Kevin, and that's what I was going to point out was just, we've heard him say it, you see it on his tape, that he is fearless. And that's kind of his superhero strength is, for a guy his size, he will come in with reckless abandon as a tackler. And we saw that time and time again against Oak Park. Saved a touchdown at one point, chasing a guy down from behind. So the speed is there. Didn't get to see a whole lot of him in coverage, except the one play that we'll talk about later with Drew Clemens, which RJ played fantastically, but Drew Clemens is Drew Clemens. But yeah, Kevin, I'm curious to see what you thought, because as a K-State guy, obviously I kind of knew what I was in for on Friday night, but that was your first chance, I think, really kind of seeing him up close and in person in action.
Yeah, I think you made a great point with the physicality, because it doesn't track with the size, right? And you would think, you see him physically, although I will say this, he's not slight, right?
Yeah.
He's fairly well built. He's just not tall, but you have all the track times and all the things like that, and you kind of, I think, expect to see a track guy playing football. That is not RJ Collins. RJ Collins is very much a put his face mask into your chest and have it come out of your back type of tackler. And I think that's one of the reasons that he's such an intriguing guy for Kansas State and such a good fit in that system at that safety position. On the other side, another guy we got to see a lot of toughness from, because of, kind of an injury that he sustained. He said he'd be all right after the game. You'll get a chance to see that later. But Drew Clemens, the Utah commitment who suits up for Oak Park, I thought he was pretty much as advertised. When Utah goes all in on a tight end, that staff tends to know what they're doing. They came out in their first game and played 4 tight ends, at a time on multiple plays, Ryan. I think Drew Clemens fits at Utah really well.
He made us look really smart, Kevin, because, I think, 247 composite maybe has him like barely hanging on to the top 20 in Missouri. And again, we don't take into account the St. Louis guys, but even in the Metro on both sides of the state line, you and I felt strongly enough, just having watched his junior tape, his sophomore tape, this is a kid who's a top 10 player in the Metro, whether you're on Kansas or Missouri. And we had him at number 7. And we were kind of tossing back and forth. Maybe he should be higher. And after watching him on Friday night, I mean, again, I think he made a strong enough case that we can revisit that top 10 here deeper into the season. And maybe Drew Clemens does elevate himself. He's not super quick, right? But I wouldn't say that he's unathletic either. The ability that he had to go up and make strong contested catches, hands and arms completely outstretched, knowing that the shoulder was bothering him and making an enormous play that wound up setting up, Oak Park for that game-winning touchdown after the Staley turnover was just spoke volumes, right, about his toughness, but also the kind of gamer that he was. We saw his dad, Coach Clemens, the head coach of Oak Park, come out at halftime and kind of give him a look like, if you're not good, we've got the rest of the season. And you could tell Drew was like, you will not pull me from this game. And he goes out and made it difference after difference. You also wonder, Kevin, if he had been healthy, the amount of big catches that he made, he probably had 3 or 4 catches on the night, and 2 or 3 were fairly early, and they were big gains. Had he not been injured, I almost wonder if that game isn't as close, and he's a big reason why maybe Oak Park wins a little bit more comfortably.
Yeah, and don't forget, too, they were utilizing him quite a bit as a blocker as well. There was one play where he started to go in motion one way, and they said, no, go over there, and we'll run the ball behind you. And I think that kind of speaks volumes as well. That was before the shoulder injury. It wasn't necessarily a deep game for high-level prospects, but we had a chance to see 2 pretty good high school running backs. When you look at Staley's, Draven Colvin, he's a bigger back. He doesn't look like a running back at 6'2", about 200 pounds. Almost wonder if he's going to be a guy that gets some attention as like an athlete that can move around or do different things. He helped the Falcons take the lead in the first place. But when Oak Park came back, A lot of it was on the strength of Northman running back Trayvon Pankey, who had that touchdown that you saw earlier. Also had another carry where he got absolutely blown up in the backfield, fought off about 4 tacklers just to make it back to the original line of scrimmage and allowed them to get a touchdown. He committed to South Dakota State this summer. Ryan, what did you think of the 2 running backs?
Yeah, well, we'll start with Pankey, who you saw the highlight from earlier. And again, I mean, just an absolute workhorse. Lists himself at about 6'1", 200 pounds. But, you know, if he is 200, he plays bigger and looks bigger, Kevin, if we're being honest. He's not a guy that's going to blow you away with speed, but at the same time, he's fast enough. And again, with the frame that he holds, that thick lower body, he's able to withstand contact. So, you know, even if you are able to catch him, the other part of that is you've got to be able to bring him down to the ground. And he's going to fit great at South Dakota State. I know Wyoming was in there. A lot of places that offered him make sense for the type of just durable running back that he is. And I see him having a prosperous collegiate career. And then with Colvin over at Staley, with Draven Colvin, like you said, taller guy, 6'2", 200 is what he lists himself at. And when you see him in the backfield, you're kind of thinking, when Coach Hudgens came over from Blue Valley North, this is not a guy that you would assume would be like, oh yeah, there's my tailback. But I think as we saw more and more of him, and he got a ton of touches too, the ice bath was busy on Friday night, if not Saturday morning, for both those tailbacks. He's a guy that he does run a little upright, and that's natural for a guy that's a 6'2" running back. But at the same time, he showcased some breakaway speed down on the opposite side of the field from us that ended up, I think, setting up a touchdown early on when Staley kind of took the lead. And he's a guy that then it clicked, like, this is probably what Coach Hudgens saw. He's too good of a player with the ball in his hands. And I think, you know, as a 2026 player, the more that junior gets touches and kind of becomes more and more comfortable with what that new staff wants to do at Staley, you know, you get RJ on the outside and you get Colvin running the ball, and that balances out that offense pretty nicely, Kevin.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I was also impressed, both of us were impressed with the Oak Park senior linebackers, Cam Wall and Caden Fields. They were kind of all over the place.
Everywhere.
Played with great physicality and what was overall a really physical game overall.
Yeah.
But what a great game. It'll be tough to be that lucky 2 weeks in a row. But this is where we tell you our next pit stop, Ryan.
Here we go.
We are headed over to the Kansas side as the Sunflower State starts up its high school ball this week. We're heading to Olathe South as the Falcons host 5-time defending state champions Mill Valley. We've seen arguably the 2 biggest prospects in this game quite a bit. In Penn State commitment, Jaden Woods at Mill Valley, although it will be fun to watch him play at middle linebacker this year.
Yeah.
And Olathe South offensive lineman Juju Marks, a Kansas commitment. Those 2 are sure to lock horns on some plays in this game. We've also talked previously on this show, Ryan, about guys like Mill Valley quarterback Connor Bohan, one of our favorite sleeper athletes in this local class, and Mill Valley lineman Abe Schaefer, who's getting some interest as a really athletic lineman. But I think we're really excited to get a longer look at those 2026s at Mill Valley. It's supposed to be a really talented class. You got running back Reggie Reese, offensive lineman LaMarcus Barber, defensive lineman MJ Wash. And as is always the case with Mill Valley, I'm sure there's somebody that you don't know about yet that's going to pop it in that game as well.
Absolutely. You know, it sounds like, you know, we'll see Bohan. We'll see the one I call Lil J. You know, they'll both be out there, whether it's at quarterback or, you know, maybe they're in different positions. We'll see. I'm excited to see how Coach Appleby kind of utilizes that offense. You mentioned Reggie Reese. That's a guy that we've kind of been hearing some buzz about up at Mill Valley for a little bit. And so to see him finally kind of take the reins at tailback will be very, very exciting with his frame. And as you mentioned, I mean, we're excited to see Juju Marks at you know, his new school at Olathe South. It'd be nice to see Jaden Woods and he kind of square off and give us a direct comparison. But with Jaden moving to Mike linebacker, we might not get that all that often. But I still think we'll be able to see maybe some Juju Marks against MJ Wash. And, you know, Wash is a kid that was injured a little bit last year. We didn't get to see him at full strength, but the buzz for him early on in his career from the Mill Valley coaches was equally strong as a guy like Reggie Reese. He's a weight room warrior. He is a wrestling guy that a very strong wrestling pedigree. And so, that should be a fun one to watch if we can see those two go one-on-one. And then also to Olathe South, not to leave out the Falcons, they've got a 2026 tight end that we're eager to see. I've seen a little bit of him at the camp circuit, but eager to see him now under the Friday night fall lights, and that's William Udell over at Olathe South. Big kid, slender in frame, probably only north of just 200 pounds, but probably 6'5", if not 6'6". So he's got that catch radius that I'm eager to see if the Falcons can put to use. Whoever the new quarterback is, since they're without Bryce Nornberg, who's now at K-State. But being able to see Udell out there will be interesting. He's a Joseph Potts guy. So over there at Top Speed Training. So again, a kid that I think is just kind of getting his feet wet. It'll be interesting to see, how he handles a defense like Mill Valley's.
Yeah, 6'5", 6'6", has a 6'8" wingspan. So a little bit more wide receiver size right now, but a guy who's got the body to get a lot bigger. Our interviews with RJ Collins and Drew Clemens are coming up. But first off, let's start a conversation. Do you like our rankings? Do you think we're way off? Is there something else or someone that you'd like to see on our show? One of the best things about recruiting in high school football is the discussion and community that can bring. If you have any questions or comments, text us at the KCSN Mint Mobile hotline. We read your comments. We may just talk about them on the show. So what do you have to lose? Shoot us a message over at 913-407-6524, and let's talk about it. We also want to tell you about our friends over at Home Field Apparel. If you missed out on one of the football boxes that would have covered you in exclusive gear for the whole season, that's a shame. But Home Field just came out with these terrific coaches jackets that should at least help keep you warm during those Midwest autumns. Kansas State, and Missouri each have their own classic look. To be sure to draw comments at your next tailgate. Ryan, when I say like the coaches jackets, you think of like the really cool like Notre Dame coats that wear it in Rudy, like the old school ones. I mean, they're good looking jackets. And those are just some of the 40 plus items that each local school has on tap to choose from. So head on over to homefieldapparel.com, use the promo code linked below in the description, and you can get 15% off your first order. We'll be right back.
We appreciate you supporting KC Sports Network by listening to our podcast. You have helped us become the highest-ranked Chiefs podcast network in 2022 and 2023. And don't forget about our daily Substack newsletter, the best written analysis you can find on the Chiefs straight to your inbox every day. kcsn.substack.com.
With big cell phone providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were going to pay magically skyrockets. But with Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. So you can say bye-bye to overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at just $15 a month. And better yet, all plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And if you're worried about keeping your own phone and your phone number, with Mint Mobile, you can keep your phone and your phone number and all of your existing contacts. So ditch overpriced wireless to the Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for just $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/KCSNVC. That's mintmobile.com/KCSNVC. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/KCSNVC. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
We're back with the Verbal Commitment Podcast, sponsored by Home Field Apparel. On Friday, we went out to Staley High School to check in with Kansas State commitment RJ Collins, who's setting up a pending visit to USC. But he also explained why he's so high on the Wildcats.
Okay, so RJ here with you after a tough one in week 1. Really strong Oak Park team. What do you guys take out of this one tonight?
Man, I just think, we played great. We did what we could, you know what I'm saying? I think I did have some, bad plays here and there, difficult plays, which I think, I see I was cramping a lot, you know what I'm saying? So I think I need to just come over prepared, you know what I'm saying, hydrating and stuff like that. This week I wasn't doing as much. So, I think I kind of let the team down for that. So, I just got to give them my courtesy for that, you know what I'm saying, just come back with that.
I know in the immediate this is a tough one because you guys were in it for the whole way. But, moving forward, what can you as a senior kind of tell these guys about building off of this?
Man, it's week 1. We got 8 more games, you know what I'm saying? It's not let this one game, bring us down and mess our whole season up, you know what I'm saying? I think, like I said, just keep our heads up, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm keeping my head up, as me as a leader counselor, I got to stay on the, underclassmen, or just my other teammates, just I got your back, you know what I'm saying? We all here, I made bad plays, we all made bad plays. It's all good. We just got to, make them play,
right.
Make them up.
Right. We talked to Drew after the game, and he said, obviously, of his big catch, he had to make that one because it was on you, his old little league guy. So
yeah, that's my brother, man. Yeah, we played since fourth grade, and he was QB at first. He wasn't as big as he is now. So when I was like, I told him, I was like, why you have to do me like that? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, we're gonna get him back on the playoffs. I was like, I'm gonna get you back now on playoffs. So yeah, for sure.
You were right in on the play. But 6'4". But tell us a little bit more about the other element of your game, which we saw on display early and often tonight, which is, you call it your superpower, but your ability to play much bigger when you're coming downhill as a tackler than your body might show to the naked eye, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm not scared to hit. Obviously, that shows. But I think what I do need to work on is just getting off the block, so then I can make them tackles way more easier. I think that's what I kind of had, struggled with a little bit today. But once I had a lot of opportunities, you saw 21, I came, took his legs out, it's just, if I see the opportunity, I'm gonna take it, you know what I'm saying? There's no fear over here.
Absolutely. Beyond just this game, you were a hot topic this week from a recruiting standpoint. We saw the K-State gloves during warm-ups. Everybody wants to know kind of where your commitment stands with them right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm still 100% committed to K-State, you know what I'm saying? I know everybody's, worried, USC, going to official visit USC, like I said, I'm just, seeing my option, you only get one opportunity, you know what I'm saying? This is the one chance you ever get this, you know what I'm saying? So, just getting all opportunities, seeing what it looked like in California. I've never been to California before, so I think it'd be fun. I got family down there, you know what I'm saying? I just think it'll be a fun trip for me and my family to go and, see what it's like down there.
Did that staff have to push you pretty hard to take that visit, or again, was it just something that had kind of been itching at you?
Yeah, so like I said, when my dad showed me and I saw it, you know what I'm saying, he was like, hey, it's just, another opportunity, you've never been to Cali before. So, I would seek out all your opportunities you get now, because like you said, you only get one chance to really, take, opportunity to do this stuff. So, like I said, Coach Riley, they obviously trying to talk to me and stuff like that, but, I just think, like I said, Cali would be a cool place to go to. Like I said, I just thought it would be a good visit to go to.
Are they really the only school besides K-State that you're at least giving this kind of interest to?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Those are my, I ain't gonna say it like that. Obviously those are my 2 power forwards. I liked all, the Delawares, I was big on them, you know what I'm saying? But, I think for sure those 2 are my, top 2 right now. You know what I'm saying? Sticking with, for sure. Like I said, and then what they have, y'all in USC, y'all have, a chance. Y'all have a play for me and, where y'all want me at, you know what I'm saying? That's what I like as well. And then coaching staff, y'all trying to build that relationship, so that's big on me.
What was the K-State coach's reaction when you kind of told them this was something that you felt like you needed to do?
About USC?
Yeah, about the visit.
Well, what I told him, I was like, Coach Brett, T. Brett. I told him, I was like, it's just, a trip I just wanted to go to. Like I said, I've never been to Cali before. And he's like, it's all good, I know you only get one opportunity, and he understood, which I think that's also why K-State's pretty big too, is y'all understand me as well, and y'all not just pushing anything on me, and that's big on me. I just big it for sure. So no, like I said, they wasn't really tripping for real.
So refresh fans again, the USC visit is going to be when? Do you know the date yet on that?
Yeah, we don't know the date yet. They didn't come up with no date yet. They're trying to figure that out now. But we just try to.
You feel like it'll be in season, or I don't know what Staley's
I think it might
schedule
be after season, maybe. If not, if they make it up early, we're gonna say what the date is. Yeah, so.
And then how about at K-State? When's the next time the K-State fans will see you in Manhattan?
So I'm going to the Oklahoma State game for sure. KU, that's my official visit. So you'll see me those 2 games. I'm trying to make most home games because I couldn't make it obviously this weekend. Well, because my parents had boat trip or whatever. But I'm trying to make most home games for sure.
When you had a chance to see practice, you were got an early taste, right? Well, like the very first practice.
Yes, sir.
What stood out about the team? And obviously they'll have their first game on Saturday. But what players do you feel like are on the cusp of really breaking out?
Man, what's number 19? Got his name, but I liked him. What stick out to me about him? He's a playmaker, you know what I'm saying? And he's not afraid to talk to, even though he's with his teammates, he's not afraid to talk. And I love to talk, you know what I'm saying? Get in their heads and stuff. And he's good with communicating around with his teammates, knowing where to place them and stuff. And I think that's good for a safety position. That's pretty much like the QB of the defense. Right. So I like him a lot.
And then what other goals do you have kind of moving forward this senior season? Obviously, everything's still on the table despite tonight. What kind of goals do you have set for yourself and for this team?
Man, goals, man, I'm trying to get this money. Man. I think, I'm set pretty well for it. I'm playing both sides. But I'm not trying to, I'm being humble, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, hard work, you got to, work hard for that, you know what I'm saying? Which I think, I'm capable to do that, you know what I'm saying? And I think, Simone, I know it's a big award. So, I think if I just get, elected in the finals, top 5, I'll be great with that. It's just another opportunity, And then just, leaving a legacy, bringing that trophy home to, Staley grounds, and I just think, leaving that, hopefully put my face on the wall, something like that. So, the kids can look up and be like, dang, that's, he used to go here and stuff like that. So that's big on me. I love the, atmosphere, the family, we unite together, you know what I'm saying? The kids, I like when they look up to me, and I like when I got, good advice for them, so when it's their turn, it's easy for them.
We also checked in with Utah commitment Drew Clemens over at Oak Park after his team pulled out a last-gasp win, something that he helped with despite a little bit of a shoulder injury. Here's what Clemens had to say.
So, feelings coming off that win. Obviously you guys pull it out in the last seconds.
It's really just the resiliency of our team. We've always been a second-half team. We didn't even start off slow. We just had tons of screw-ups. But really, it's just resilience. Trayvon Pankey was hurt. I was hurt. Everybody hurt, and still kept playing.
Speaking of being hurt, are you all right? We saw.
I think I'll be fine. It's just shoulder hurts a little bit.
How hard was it then to make the catch that you made there in the big situation?
Oh, it's really hard. RJ's a great player. I played with him since Little League. He was on my Little League Sharks team, and he's a really good player. I've been making those catches all summer, trying my best, but I was really just practicing for him. So,
what have you been working on all summer to get better? Because obviously you were a really good player as a junior, but what areas of improvement did you kind of want to attack?
Really, I started off as a quarterback. Last year was my first year at tight end. I was kind of playing a little bit of quarterback throughout the season too, but really what happened was just practice and consistency. Also, we got a great DB core. Every practice with them makes me better too. So.
Do you have a preference yet for what you would rather do in terms of catching a big pass or making a big block? Because you seem to enjoy the blocking aspect.
Yeah, anything to help the team win.
What have the Utah coaches said that they like about you?
They said that I'm a pretty athletic dude. They said that I kind of remind them of Dalton Kincaid, and I just got to gain a few pounds and I'll be all right.
How's that? Utah doesn't usually come to Kansas City for a tight end, and obviously they've got a really good group of tight ends there. What did it mean to you for them to kind of come this way to find you?
It meant a lot because they had a coach come to the school. That was before really I had any offers, and he was really the first coach to notice me. I had a couple of coaches talk to me on the phone, but he was he was a wide receivers coach, and he brought his information that he learned about me back to the tight end coach, and they reached out before almost anybody else did.
Did you watch them play last night?
Yeah.
So you saw them putting 4 tight ends on the field at once. Does that excite you, the chance that you could be a part of something
It's a great offense. I love the amount of tight ends they run, and I feel like I could be great there.
How do you feel like you fit the system overall?
I feel like I fit pretty good. I can kind of do it all. Like if I gain some weight, I feel like I could be a pretty good blocker. I think I can be a pretty good receiver too.
What's your weight at right now?
I'm 218.
218 and about 6'4"?
About 6'4", yeah.
Okay.
From a recruiting standpoint, you mentioned maybe Utah coming in early. Is that what made you kind of want to shut things down early? Because I know there were still some schools coming in late there, but you clearly saw something with Utah that you wanted to.
Yeah, it was really just a great coaching staff. They've been together for many years, and I just know that there's great stability there. And I love the players too. They have great players.
What coach, like who's been your contact there?
Coach Freddie, the tight ends coach. He's been in main contact with me.
And what's your relationship like with him?
Oh, he's great. We went to In-N-Out Burger when I went there on a visit. It was really good.
Is there a player, you mentioned that Utah sees you as a Dalton Kincaid. Is there anybody that you enjoy watching and kind of model your game after?
Really, this is my first year at tight end. I just look at Travis Kelce. He's like the main guy. He doesn't really block as much as I do, but I feel like he's a pretty good blocker still. So.
Absolutely. And then I guess where can this team go after this? You know, coming in top 10 in the Metro, but does this just go to show that you guys can win the close ones? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we can win any game. It just depends on how we feel. I mean, we just got to work through it, and just resiliency.
Was there a play tonight that you felt like really, I don't know, motivated the sideline and propelled you guys to the win?
Really all of Trayvon's big runs. He got hit, kept running. His yards after catch yards after hit is just crazy.
How about one more? From a recruiting standpoint, everybody looks at Oak Park, they know Drew Clemens. But if there's a guy that you feel like, maybe a senior or a junior, that you feel like should be getting a little bit more attention as a recruit, is there somebody that stands out?
Camwell and E-Man, they're both really good players. I think they have a couple of Division II schools talking to them, and they're just really good.
And that'll wrap it up. Thanks to all of you for watching and listening to the Verbal Commitment Podcast here on KCSN. If you like what you've seen or heard, leave us a like, subscribe, or hit us with a 5-star rating. And until next time, we'll see you on the trail, and take care.